Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our continued production of United Rogue Rocket League here on this Saturday evening. And we've had a couple banger series so far to continue our night, but we've got even more Rocket League on the way. And we'll elevate things a little bit in terms of the overall skill level to the Noodle Cup series, where San Francisco Cyborgs will be taking on the Hawaiian Turtles, or the Maui Ancients as they are formerly known as. Pyro Squared back on the desk and joined for the first time this season by Chaos Spike. Welcome back to the booth. And, being week one on the season, couldn't have a little bit of an idea of what the expectations are for both of these two teams. It could be looking to get their seasons off to a good start, and they could also be starting potentially an undefeated run throughout the remainder of the regular season. So, Chaos, where do you think both of these teams line up on?
Yeah, I was just looking at the website here, looking at who's on the team. Wolfie, he's a notable player that I know from another league. Him and Script, I'm assuming it's the same Wolfie because those two guys played for me for another team, and Wolfie is pretty good. But I do like the San Francisco team. It's a lot of names that I recognize from seasons ago. You got Mara and Arkball and Carson. So I'm going to give the slight edge to San Francisco, but that's no slight on Maui. I think both these teams have a lot of talent, and this is probably going to be going the full length. I don't think this will be a sweep. So I'm pretty curious to see what will happen here.
I believe we had a sweep in the prior series, and then the first series of the day went to 4 games. So I'm ready to see a game 5, a very tight series between a couple evenly matched teams. I think would go a very long way. And for both of these teams, obviously it's week 1. So all is not lost if you end up losing your first match of the regular season. And honestly, you've got a couple weeks between now and what would really be crunch time between when you have to figure things out for real. But obviously, you'd rather get on the front foot and start things off on the right note rather than starting off 0-1. So if you end up winning your first match of the season, you start yourself off on a pretty good side of things. And obviously, between these two teams, it's yet to be seen who exactly is going to come out on top. But personally, I don't know. Without seeing these two teams play relatively, it's kind of difficult to say. I'm kind of leaning towards SFC myself, but I guess we'll see once we turn things up into the first game of this series.
Yeah, the only reason I'm slightly leaning their way, I've been in the past seasons and seasons ago. I've bet against Arkball, and he just always finds a way to win, I find. So I want to see if he still has it. I haven't seen him play in quite some time, so we'll see what happens here. We'll throw 5 minutes on the clock here. The two teams on the kickoff are going to send Crip and Wolfie. This one going off to the side, followed up quickly by Fufu. Arkball with pop over top. Wolfie going to follow that one. They're going to keep this one in here. Try and throw it in front. No one's there, though, and they will be able to break out on that counterattack.
15 seconds in, and a couple of chances for both sides. San Francisco will send it towards the net, and a demolition on the follow-on, but it's a 2v1 going the other way. Wolfie trying to get Crip to commit, but they stay neutral. The ball finds them instead. Trying to clear that ball out. They will not be able to do so. Stock towards the sidewall. Will rebound down for Nabbit, but they get the ball bounced over their head, and now Fufu trying to take the ball across the field, ends up getting dunked across into the corner of the Maui Ancients and eventually out towards midfield. So a really entrenched midfield battle. Nobody really being able to take things across and into an advantageous position as of yet.
Both teams definitely a little bit of jitters here. The first game in, I'm seeing a little bit of double commits coming out here. I'm seeing, a little bit of misplays coming out by these highly skilled players that I know normally don't make these mistakes. But I also like what I'm seeing with Wolfie there as he was taking his time earlier. But as I say, that Nabbit's just going to put that bottom right to open up the scoring here. 1-0.
The Hawaiian Turtles able to slot that ball towards the far side, and you can see Ark on the near post, not quite able to get to the ball, and it's always difficult for those corner reads as they rebound in towards the middle of the field. Always seems to favor the offensive player in a lot of those cases, but Crip with the sidewall double puts things on a platter for Ark B-ball, and they will tie the game.
The guy I was talking about earlier, San Francisco's going to be leaning towards him, one of their faces of the franchise, to really lead the strike here, quickly answering the deficit that they were put in. We have a tie game here, 3:36 left on the clock.
A little bit to get both of these teams' wheels turning, but the goals have come through rather quickly. 1 goal apiece on the sides of San Francisco and Maui, and San Francisco looking for another one as they try to route that ball around to the corner. Crip, no boost, will defer for Arc B-Ball, but the best they can do is get a negative angle touch, and that's going to be dangerously towards their own net. Fufu will clean things up and slot it into the far side.
What a play started here by Wolfie, one of the guys I mentioned earlier as well. I'm going to be looking to him all series to see if he's going to be the difference maker. That whole play set up by him, and then Fufu and Nabbit, getting the points on the play. Wolfie not credited with anything there, unfortunately, but the lead regained once again by the Turtles.
Ends up really being a 1-2-3 kind of play. Everybody getting involved on the side of Maui, and Wolfie trying to answer the bell once again. Fufu, really the cleanup specialist, it seems. Now they've got 2 goals in relatively short succession, and they both come off of all of the work from their teammates, but you got to be in the right place at the right time. You got to pick the right spot, and they've been able to do that in 2 straight goals. They give the Maui Ancients a 2-goal lead.
I think it took slightly over a minute, like a minute 15, for the ice to be broken, and then it's just absolutely been shattered here, Pi. We have had 4 goals now, and we're not even at the halfway mark, so all of a sudden it's all offense, no defense, and as I say, the Stock gets it by him, bumps Fufu, arc ball, touching in front. This is great. Stock off the backboard, down to Crip, shot on net, but that's sky high, coming down. They're not into the woods here yet. Arc ball off the post, and they score, bringing it within 1.
Honestly, you don't really see that aggressive of a back pass off of the backboard. And usually it's more just straight down, but it ends up working out for the San Francisco Cyborgs, and it may not have a lot of power behind the final shot, but it's the final shot that goes in, which ends up counting on the scoreboard. So after conceding 2 straight goals from Fufu and the Maui Ancients, they've been able to battle back. The deficit is now 1, and ooh, it could have been an even score line. That ball trickles just wide of the far post. Wolfie trying to send this ball out towards the midfield line, intercepted by Crip. Cross to Stock on the far side, trying to just get a little bit of space, but Fufu giving them absolutely none. Wolfie continuing the play towards the backboard of San Francisco. Stock will be able to send it out.
Sneaking behind Nabbit there, almost goes in front of the net. Wolfie gonna keep that one from danger. Beats 1. Can he get this in front in time? Going for the pinch across. Crip read that one well. All the San Francisco players near post there. Could have been dangerous, but they're breaking out with a good counterattack here. A little bit jumbled up midfield there as the pass came across. 2 players were in the same spot at the same time. Still, only a 1-goal game here. The clock ticking down slowly. We're about a minute and 35 seconds left to go.
Maui, the little bit faster of the team so far, just a little bit of an edge in the overall speed, and I guess you could see that kind of translates to the run of play that we've seen thus far in this game number 1. They still hold that slight edge. Arc B-Ball looking to get San Francisco back in the offensive end. They can only find the midfield line. Fufu directing it towards the sidewall. Arc B-Ball again from the half wall, trying to center this ball. Stock is lurking, but the ball never found them, and now it's a 1v1 opportunity for Wolfie against Crypt. Wolfie will extend the play out and take away the boost from San Francisco as the ball goes over their head back into the Maui zone. A little bit awkward for this defense and their positioning for Maui as the ball just clanged back and forth going across the field. Not a lot of boost on the side of San Francisco, but they're able to kind of hold the zone for now as Crypt will rotate back through. Stock letting the ball go over their head. Crip will have to rotate out. Stock will be the next one on the ball. It's a little bit of an awkward bounce again for Maui to deal with, and it will slide on through. Stock gets credit for the tie.
An absolute squeaker here. This one rolling in 44 kilometers an hour, it says. I mean, I felt like that was so slow. I'm surprised it was that quick. They evened it up here. 28 seconds left on the clock. And let me tell you, San Francisco had to work for that one, Pi, as they were pushing and pressuring. And it felt like it was never going to go in, but they finally got it. As I say, that Wolfie's got to make a desperation save here. He does. Rebound on goal. All the players committing on that one. We're still tied at 3.
An extended period of offensive zone time yielded the tying goal, and off of the kickoff, it's been more of the same. Crip trying to come through. Well, 50 along the side wall. Stock has an option in Arc B-Ball, but they can't get it to them as the defense stuffs it out. Crip in for Stock, no boost, and OT as that ball hits the ground.
Oh, Regular time could not do it. We need extra time, so we're beyond 5 minutes here to try and figure out who's going to be taking game one. San Francisco on a good break here. This could mount a good counterattack with that 50-51 in Maui's favor. Wolfie retreating back. He's got full boost. Nabbit, nothing in net. The other player rotating back too. They're going to get pinched in here. Another passing play. This one high and wide.
Oh, we saw it work to good effect on the first goal for San Francisco, and it's going to yield even more dividends at OT as Stock will put the goal in to end game number one.
Oh my, I mean, that was almost the exact same play. What was it, goal number 2 by, I think, where the backward guy just out of nowhere. I mean, I didn't even expect him to be there, passing it down. Is this going to be the signature play? I mean, I love the passing we saw there from San Francisco, but wow, what a series, and kind of what we expected. We talked about a close series going into this one, and how do you get even closer than that? Overtime barely squeaked by.
We talked about Maui and their team plays and their goals in this game as well. So off to a very good offensive start for both of these teams. A little bit confused, I think, at times for Maui on the defensive end, and San Francisco in the first half of that game, they're not immune from that either. So going forward in this series, it seems like might be an overall glass cannon aspect of who can score the most goals and without giving up too many in retrospect. And as we look at the advanced statistics as well, the run of play seemingly favoring San Francisco as they have the edge in both ball possession and field domination. As in, it kind of trended that way a little bit in the second half of that game number one, where San Francisco just had a whole lot of opportunity and time on the ball in the offensive zone.
Yeah, incredible first game. Like you said, a little bit more weighted towards San Francisco if you're looking at the advanced analytics there. But if I'm Maui, I'm not going to be backing down here. I'm shocked our boy Script not in the lineup tonight, but let me tell you, this team still has tons of firepower. And again, I'm going to be looking towards Wolfie to really give them that slight edge here in game two. They definitely do not want to drop this one.
And Script may not be in the lineup, but there is always a Script in the series for sure. It's trending the way of San Francisco, but we'll see exactly what the writers have in terms of a Maui response. Off the kickoff, it was San Francisco in the offensive third. Now it is translated back to Maui. Nabbit with a little bit of a fake. Might have been better served going at the ball at that time as they find themselves now on the defensive end. Art Bebo with a shot. It almost finds the goal. The pre-flip was necessary to keep that ball out.
The Turtles looking a little slow off the gate here, almost like they're playing against some rabbits here. It's just all speed from San Francisco and all pressure. But as I say that, finally they get their first shot on goal here. But again, double commit on the back lines here. This could prove problematic. And San Francisco going for the signature 1-2 punch in front. They could not connect there.
Fufu wanted to go on the ground, almost full field. Kind of lost the handle. Looked like they might have wanted to pinch with one of their teammates, but either way, to evaluate things as they go back onto the offensive attack after a counterattack. Kripp is all upfield by themselves. The ball finds them, and they find the first goal of the game.
I was shocked he was up there, but I don't think he ever came back from the initial attack when I think it was Stock went for the solo back wall double tap. And then I think he set that up first. So, yeah, he's just in the perfect spot at the perfect time. I mean, Maui has to answer back here, though. I'm seeing a lot of speed and just domination coming out of the San Francisco end. We really got to see Maui answer back here.
Speaks to the faith that they have in their teammates in order to handle things potentially 2v3 on the defensive end, because all it really takes at that point is a solid 50 like we saw in the midfield, and then it's a counterattack going the other way. And really uncontested for Kripp as they had an open net to shoot at. Now it's Maui again on the back foot, trying to find something. Wolfie with no boost. The best they can do is flick over one. It might have been good enough. Lacking in boost is this Maui Ancients team, so they have to turn tail and play defense once again, and they almost pay the price. They end up doing so, but after a heroic stand, it's Kripp who puts in the second goal for San Francisco.
Yeah, Stock with an initial demo, a beautiful save like you talked about there. However, not quite enough, and that's kind of been the story here in game two. I'm seeing fantastic defensive play. That's probably the second amazing save we've seen so far in game two from Maui, but the problem is they're getting hemmed in, making the saves, and then they're having to react to the rebounds off the saves, which is starting to become a little bit problematic with how aggressive San Francisco's playing. As I say that, the pressure continues.
It's always difficult as well when you end up playing off of those odd man rushes and you end up playing down players as well with the physical play that San Francisco has elected to turn up in this game number 2. And whenever you don't have boost on your side as well, the advantage going the way strictly of the Cyborgs in the opening half of this second game, going to find yourself behind the ball a little bit more than I think you'd be comfortable with, and that's Maui for sure. If they spent most of this game in their own defensive half, we've yet to see them really mount a serious offensive attack. They've got 2 shots so far. That one might be counted as a third. Nothing really too dangerous that has kind of forced the hand defensively of this San Francisco team.
One thing I've noticed, Wolfie's been almost at a boost this whole time I've been watching him. He finally just got full boost for the first time, I swear, since the last goal. So a lot of boost deprivation going on here. This is going to be dangerous here. Nice play by Arkball, but yeah, San Francisco definitely controlling the boost game and the possession game. As I say that, good touch there, controlled by Nabbit, but Crip doesn't want anything to do with that and clears it.
It's always so good when you get those sidewall double reads, especially when you catch the opposing team unaware and they're creeping just a little bit too far up, so that gets played over their head. It gives you a little bit of space to work with. San Francisco's been able to work with that so far. Another opportunity will go through. Oh, it could have been a little bit of a better touch from Arc B-Ball, and the Cyborgs might have been off and running, but as it stands, it's still got a 2v1 opportunity. Crip trying to redirect. They bump Fufu out of the way, but not before contact was made. The save keeps the ball out and keeps the deficit at 2. An opportunity for Maui as the ball goes off of post to post and still out. Off of the scoreboard for the moment is the Ancients, and Arc B-Ball with no boost doing the best that they can to keep the ball out.
Oh, that they wanted that one so bad to get that. They have it cut down by half, but instead that horrifying noise that they did not take into the game. I thought that was supposed to be temporary, but you hear the ding, and yeah, the ball just not finding the back of the net. A little bit of miscommunication here between Crip and Arkball. This could be problematic. Let's see if Wolfie over top 1. No more boost to follow up. Fufu's up as well. They got to go on all cylinders here as I say that on the goal line, but somehow stays out.
It's really been the only sequence that we've seen so far for Maui where they've had the boost advantage. Nobody on behalf of the Cyborgs really had anything in the tank, but still too slow of a roller, and it stays out of the net. Arc B-Ball transition from defense to offense will cap off game number 2 and extend the lead to a 3-goal.
Oh, you were just literally talking about how boost deprived San Francisco was. You know, the tables were turned, so Crip got sick and tired of not getting boost. So what does he do? He goes into Maui's end, grabs their 100, then he's up there again in the right spot at the right time, similar to last game. And unfortunately, you know, if you're Maui, you're thinking, what the heck is this guy doing in our corner? But I mean, it worked, unfortunately, for them, but fortunately for San Francisco.
And as time expires, the Ancients will get on the board. So for the second game, they will avoid a shutout. But what was a close contest in game number 1, requiring a somewhat extended overtime period, it went beyond the 5 minutes of regulation. San Francisco really controlled this game from start to finish, and Maui had a lot of difficulty, it seemed, keeping up with their pace of play.
Yeah, I mean, the first game felt so close, and this one, I mean, they kind of brought it like closer towards the end there, but in the start, it was just they were on their back foot the whole time. We saw the defensive heroics. I mean, the skill was there defensively, but they just couldn't fight off the nonstop pressure, the extra rebounds. They ended up with 6 total saves. I didn't realize how many Crip had himself on San Francisco side, but I think that was mostly on the last minute or so when we saw the goal line post and the other one that just trickled halfway in the can. It kind of came out. So I mean, Maui's got the stuff, but they got to bring it all together. It's just been there in fragments at certain times, but as a cohesive team, it's just not quite there. Hopefully game 3 we see a different team break out here.
The advanced statistics at the bottom of the screen, you could look at this and you could say, hey, you know, it's going in favor of Maui, right? It's a little bit of a toss-up, right? It's not as egregious as what we saw perhaps in game number 1, but then you look at the game that we just saw and it was really not as close as those statistics might make it seem. It just seemed like San Francisco had control of that game, and they really just didn't let it go. Maui, for their part, I think they got to do a little bit of a better job of boost management. You pointed out a couple times where they've just had players with minimal boost for extended periods of time, and you cannot sustain attacks in the offensive third if you just don't have that kind of boost management as well, because it just affects your rotations a little bit too much. You can't get to the ball in time in order to take advantage of it. But when you do, you have opportunities that go for the full field, and that could have been a way for Maui to get on the board first. It already looks just a little bit better because now they're getting the challenges when they need to.
Well, let's hope that these teams don't make us look like liars. We wanted a full series here. Right now, we're looking down the tunnel of a potential sweep, but I know Maui's going to keep us in. Pyre Spike just a little bit longer here. Stock shoots this one up top. Arc Ball, he's on the backboard once again, looking for the downwards pass in front of the net. We've seen this time and time again in the series. This time, not quite as effective, but it was threatening.
Almost like you said, it's their signature play. Maui's got to do something about it. They have to secure their own territory, and that starts really from the back line going forward. I've said it before, and I'll say it again until the end of time, or perhaps when Rocket League 2 finally launches and the meta changes, but you leave your backboard undefended, you do so really at your own peril, and San Francisco has made it kind of their hallmark so far of this series of just taking advantage of the space that's been given to them. Arc B-Ball with a double. Crip gonna wait a little bit, be the benefactor of some patient shadow defense as the cavalry comes rallying back to the ball in terms of the cyborg defensive structure. Fufu trying to play this ball in, no boost again on behalf of them. Wolfie again doesn't have a whole lot as well. They'll have to make a defensive stand, and they'll keep the ball out off of the near post.
Oh yeah, the whole team was on empty there. I mean, they're still on fumes. Wolfie trying to dribble it out, had nothing. Fufu on the left side had nothing. And that's been the problem here. We've seen one attacker setting up a great play. Wolfie had a good chance a couple plays ago, as I say, that great save by Stock. But a couple plays ago, the ball was centered, and then the camera shifted back, and both Maui players just not there, and they were actually retreating to find boost. So second man really has to pick it up here. As I say that, this is gonna be dangerous. Arc Ball upside down, falling off the backboard to make a save here. Cleared out, but Nabbit will keep it in.
Wolfie collects the ball as it rebounds off of the San Francisco backboard. Crip down to Stock. They want the air dribble, and they're going to get it. Perhaps a flip reset opportunity. Carries it just wide of the far post. B-Ball's pass will find nothing but Nabbit. Had a lot of boost, but they're going to have to spend a lot of that to get back to the ball. Fufu, the follow-on touch. It's the defensive chaos for San Francisco. Maui, unfortunately, not able to take advantage of that. But hey, we've gone almost 3 minutes. Nobody's scored just yet. It's the longest drought I think we've had in this series so far. And after all of the goals that we've seen, especially in game number 1 and from San Francisco in game number 2, it's a little bit surprising, I think, to see these two high-powered offenses kind of come back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, and Fufu has all the shots. He's got 4. Wolfie's got 3 saves. So all the stats distributed between the two of them. I mean, Nabbit's doing stuff as well, but right now, looking like all the offense is coming off one person. As I say, that good air carry here. Quickly challenged by Crip. Pinched down off 2 players there. Fufu gonna smack that one out here. We're approaching 1 minute and 20 seconds here. We're deadlocked. The ice here is just razor thin. Someone looking to break an arc ball in front. This is still just floating in front of the net. Fufu has a touch, nothing to follow up. Wolfie retreating back. And again, we are still deadlocked here at nothing.
Could be a similar scenario to what we had in game 1, staring down the barrel of an overtime period if the next 60 seconds go goalless. But again, a little bit of a different story as we had 7 total goals in that game number 1. Arc B-Ball looking to break the deadlock. They will not be able to find it. Wolfie fresh off of a demo, off of the ball. It's a flip reset going to go through, and they end up getting, well, actually, that looks like Crip got taken off of the field, so it's a potential 3v2 odd man opportunity for Maui. They hold the ball further in the offensive zone. Fufu is up early. Can they play this ball over Stock? No, they get the play off the backboard. 30 seconds to go. Still scoreless. Somebody's going to have to break this tie.
Yeah, and who is it going to be? 20 seconds left here. Hopefully we get overtime. Classic Caster's Curse possibly here. Stock, great touch. Up top, someone's up. It's Crip. Great clear. This is a good counterattack. All players rotating back. We got 10 seconds left. Wolfie rounding it off the backboard, trying to bump Stock off, but Stock pushes it off, keeping it clear, looking like we might head into overtime, but the infamous 1 second, keep it up here, and it will fall. We will have overtime in game 3.
After all of the hard work Maui has put in this game especially, still have to score that one goal in order to continue this series. They are fighting for their series life. Pushing the ball further down, Fufu will have to give up the positioning. Arc B-Ball is hunting. They've gotten the space available for Stock. The ball will have to catch back up to them, trying to center it for Crip. All they can do is put it back towards the corner. Stock turns off of the far side wall. They'll elevate this ball. They've got an opportunity to flip reset over one. Carried it just a little bit too far. Maui will have their chance as soon as they can clear the ball. They'll have a little bit of time to get a handle on it, but once he's, like you said so many times, Wolfie, not a lot of boost in the tank, and Nabbit doesn't have any either. They pick up their corner 100 pad, but still, the best that they can do right now is just play this ball laterally across the side and buy themselves a little bit of time.
Fighting for boost there. Wolfie got it. Nabbit ran to the other corner. Then I look and Wolfie's out of boost again. He's going to get the 100 here. He's going to let Fufu take to the skies, but instantly disrespected by Crip there. And Nabbit's up to try and block that one down. Stock, Arc, and Crip. Everybody back defending this goal line here, all with tons of boost in the tank as well.
If you're Maui, and maybe in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I don't want to be the one that gives up this goal as Arc B-Ball. And the convergence of all three defenders for the Ancients. Stock wanting to put this down to Crip. They won't be able to do so. And now it's a 2v2, but Fufu goes flying past the ball. It's now an odd man rush going the other way. Crip with the pre-flip. Unable to make the connection. And now it's Nabbit on the side wall. Trying to go over one. They will do so. It's going to waterfall, but not quite on frame. The ball will again get pushed out towards the far side. Fufu, nobody in tow to really pass that ball off to. Nabbit playing it patiently from the side wall. Once one to commit, they get the flip reset to go underneath one, but Arc B-Ball again on the near post.
Oh, near miss there. I like, Maui's trying to find the passing play there to get something going, because what they've been doing hasn't quite been working. They're leading in shots, but it really hasn't been quite as threatening as it looks stats-wise. Great opportunity there. Fakes past Arc Ball. Crip clearing it. Nabbit's going to keep it in. Stock's got no boost. Has to get a clear here, and he will clear it all the way down into the Maui corner. Fufu got him doing a little bit of a backflip move there, trying to get it by one person. Ball is just killed here at midfield. Still deadlocked. We played a half an extra game. Both teams have been denied the goal line.
Well, after all of that, it's just a little bit of interference on the goal line as Stock rolls through, gets the defense to shift ever so slightly, and it's that slight opening that San Francisco needs in order to end the series there and then. In a clean sweep fashion, the Cyborgs will take the first series of their season 3-0, and Maui, for all the fight that they had, they just could not keep the ball away and out of their defensive third when it mattered most.
I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get that 5-game series we wanted. It was just another 3-game sweep, just like the previous game. However, I mean, it was a lot closer. Games 1 and 3 were very, very close games. 2, I think it was maybe slighted towards SFC. But obviously, these other 2 games went to overtime. It came down to 1 goal. But I mean, Maui fought. Their defense was there. Everything. I really liked a lot of things they were doing. It's just a lot of the problems that were created in game 3, I noticed, was like the second man just wasn't quite there at the right time. The first attacker would set something up. He just didn't have a follow-up, and that proved to be the dagger that kind of put them under SFC. They always had that second guy. We saw it multiple times. They did that weird backboard play. Spider-Man's hanging out and, throws it down, a Hail Mary, and it just worked every time.
And realistically, you could argue that they had at least 4 games of content so far. We've yet to see a game 5, but with those OT periods, they kind of forced a little bit more than the regulation game 3 would have had 15 minutes of regular time of play. But For San Francisco, they get on the board on the positive side for the first week of the season. Maui, like we said, you drop one series, it's not really all that important. But I mean, maybe it could be when things come down to the end. But they've got a lot more Rocket League as we go through the remainder of the regular season to iron things out. Especially, I think that boost control. If they can just get a little bit more in terms of their overall boost deficit that they face in this series in particular, then I think we might be saying a little bit more in terms of their overall offensive output because we know we know they can score based off of how they played in game number 1, and we know that they can play defense based off what we saw in game number 3. So a very dangerous team, I think, going forward. But San Francisco will take this series, and that will take us to a quick break, but we're going to have more Rocket League, our final series of the evening, coming your way right after these messages from your local UR station.